Hello guys, so we are the GNest group and we have come up with a game called the Acid Last Experiment. So our game is a strategy game and it's about a doctor who is deranged. It's a mad scientist that is doing experiment in a lab in the polar area, and then his last experiment goes wrong and his entire lab blows up. All the toxic acid flows out. He barely escapes to run away where a plane awaits. But he has to collect now a required number of energy points for him to power up the plane, and he has a specific amount of time to collect all those energy points. So our game falls under the strategy and skill game because it requires the player to have a strategy for reaching the required energy point. He needs to make fast and strategic choices and movements, like avoiding to run out of the bounds or on the acid flow. Yes.
um we have some few character designs that we saw fit for the game because the game revolves around a mad doctor. The we designed the character to have to be wearing like scrubs that symbolize like where he was coming from. And also we have capsules that look like medicine tablets, also in the theme of chemist, like the chemist and the lab and stuff. And then we also like the character also has animations that symbolize where he is, that make the play make the game more immersive, like he's waving his hands because there's a toxic environment caused by the acid and other things.
I just showed the storyline, so if we can start the game. This is the first scene, and as you can hear the sound, and as Malika explained, this shows the storyline for the doctor about discovering the acid, and shows how he's crazy and how the explosion occurs. After which, the instructions are given to the game. After here, now you begin the game. So for the first level, your main objective is to collect the coins with specific instructions to avoid certain areas which might endanger your capsule collection. So here the yellow capsules, as you can see, once you collect them, they show up here. um, According to the instructions, you're supposed to play in a certain way so that you're able to move smoothly. So the objective is to get to the aeroplane for escape before the acid encompasses the whole scene, or the whole area where you are doing your experiments, your lab, where your aeroplane will use the power capsules that you've collected to power up. So you are given you're given a time limit to collect the required amount. Within that time limit, you have to have collected the required capsules. So let's say we set our capsules for this variable at this time, which was 150. And once you get to that level, once you get to that amount, you're able to progress to the next level. So once you finish running, there's a plane waiting for you. Since you've collected the correct number of capsules, you win and you're able to progress to the next level. So here, the next level, it clearly shows your next run. The aeroplane that you used to escape is here. It crash landed, so you're in your next scene and you're supposed to continue playing. Yeah, so here the objective according to the instruction is to collect only to avoid the red capsules and to collect the yellow, while the green contain the highest numbers of capsules, the blue the second highest, and the orange and yellow contain the normal number of capsules. So as you can see, once you collect the yellows, which are mostly plus 10s, they'll add 10, while if you collect the red capsules, they'll subtract a certain number. So as you can see, the green are adding a larger numbers compared to the yellow and red. While also the speed has increased, so that the player has a more challenging time playing this game. Once you've collected the required amount of capsules, there's another aeroplane waiting for you to take off. So once you've already collected this, you're able to go to the next. Yeah, this is where the level ends. Yes.
And now for some of the scripts we used, I'll just explain three. The first one is player movement. Just open player movement. Yeah, so some of the classes we have, like run speed, which controls how fast the player moves, and gravity, which is for constant downward acceleration, and CC is reference to the character controller. Animator is for the animator for. Yeah, so player movement, those are some of the classes we have, and then it always moves at a run speed. There's no walking option. So in summary, it moves the character in a 3D space based on the input, which is like if you're moving um, left, right, or forward, or you're turning around, and it uses character controller for smooth movement and collision. And it always runs, there's no walking. And it also applies gravity and it updates an animator to reflect the movement, like if you collide into something. Also, it rotates the character smoothly in the direction of movement. Another script to use is yellow capsule, that's capsule one. So it allows a capsule to increase the player's score when it's touched or destroy itself after being collected. So that's what this does. An example is the red capsules give five. No, that's not it. Anyways, it detects when the player enters its trigger, and then it increases the score using its central manager, and then it destroys itself after collection. So yeah. So when you've already picked it, you can go back and pick it again. And then the final script is score counter that I'll be explaining. Excuse me. So it tracks the player's score and it updates the UI display, the canvas with the current score, and it uses a single tone pattern. So other scripts like yellow capsule, like capsule one, can easily add to the score from anywhere. Yeah, so it uses Text Mesh Pro UI elements for better quality and text rendering, and we also use the awake function to ensure that only one instance exists in the scene, and it also uses a method to update the UI. So it updates the UI's text to show the new score. Yeah, so that's what score count is about. It maintains the global score, it updates the UI using Text Mesh Pro. Yeah, that's it.
Next, we have the sound in the game. So we used the techno instrumental. Okay. In the game. Okay. Um, Next, we have the sound for the game. We use dark techno for the music in for the play for the gameplay. The next sound that we used was revolve. This was for the scenes of the storyline, and dark music was for the start menu. Also, when the start of the game, the Dr. Acid coughs. That's also a sound that we use to show that the acid is smelling and it needs to run so that it can get away from the acid. And the acid also, there's a sound for the acid which shows that acid is flowing around. Yeah, thank you.